I'm Charlotte with Share with Charlotte podcast, where I'm the creator and host, and we place emphasis on finding balance in relationship. Just want to welcome you again to another episode. And this particular one, I hope that give you some insight as to maybe looking at some things within yourself. I thought this particular one was important because it's an area that a lot of time we do neglect, and that is defining and developing relationship in self. And that is to take a good look at who we are, defining who we are, and developing who we are in our own relationship with self. As I was doing research, I thought it was interesting when I saw that at the age of even 4 months, 4 months, you can take a look at that baby and you can determine some idea as to some of the characteristics and traits that you'll start seeing in that baby. Whether that baby giggles a lot, they don't like to be touched, or they're temperamental at that age, or they can even be one that are clingy, want a lot of attention. And so you start seeing some of those little personalities come out. Because when you're born, but you don't know what you're going to be or how your personality is going to be developed. But you got to understand too, we also made up of our DNA from both parents. And so with that, some of those traits from our parents are also passed on to us. And then as I was researching and I was reading, and it was said even at the age of 2 to 5, that you can really start seeing a lot of those personality in your childhood. You know, they always call the terrible twos, you know, where kids tend to have to, you really have to create those boundaries because at that age, you never know what they're going to try or what they're going to do. But that 2 to 5, that allow those personality traits come out. And then I was researching as it continued to tell me that the age of 20 to 40 is when a lot of your personality is at its peak. That means you're exhibiting a lot of those personalities in you more so at the age of 20 to 40. And as you listen, you can reflect back in your years of 20 to 40 and think of where you were in life as far as things that you were doing, things about yourself and your personality that you saw in you. And how much of that have you grown beyond that if you pass 40? But interestingly enough, we a lot of times do not want to own our relationship. And that's not a good thing. That's really a very bad thing. So, because if you don't own the relationship that you have in yourself, your personality, and you don't take ownership of it, then how do you make changes? How do you grow from what that is if you never identify with it? You never accepted some things about you that you're not willing to accept in your personality. And when you don't do that, then what you end up doing is be one that's living in denial about yourself. A lot of things in terms of how we're developed and our personalities, and which also define in how we have relationship with ourselves. And that is a lot of time it comes through life experiences, especially when you're doing your childhood. It comes with things like I mentioned before, of course, your DNA. It's things that you develop along the way, your own life experiences with different things that create in you a place that if you choose to be one who decides you want to be someone of dishonest, or one that you can trust, one that lies a lot, or one who always gonna be honest with you, one that is aggressive, or one that may be gentle. I'm just saying there's a lot of things that you made up. Because what you have to understand, a lot of things in what we look at when we look at in defining who we are. So we can develop who we are in our relationship with self. And that is we look at the mind. Where's your mind? How you think, how you put things together, how you connect things. Develop a lot in how is your mind process and analyze. Because a lot of how what your mind does to process has a lot to do with in terms of how you put things out, how it's ejected. And then you look in terms of also your emotions. We all have emotions. How do you feel? Are you kind? Are you sweet? Are you hard? Are you bitter? You know, what are your emotions like? And then, of course, you have also the physical. And sometimes we put so much emphasis on the exterior that we neglect to address what's in our mind, to develop a healthy mind, and also to develop healthy feelings, emotions. But our body looks good, but you could be so torn and ripped from within. And that's not. And then how do you see yourself in public? Are you always on guard? Because in public, you're more concerned about what people think, what their thoughts. Are they going to receive you or reject you? Or are they going to like you or dislike you? And that's a lot of mental work. And that's a lot of wrapped up emotions if you find yourself working so hard to please man, to please others, so you don't feel rejected. So therefore, you can't even be yourself. You can't even be you because you're too busy trying to be something that you hope someone else will like. And even when that's public awareness, you know, where you want to be thought of at your best. So you put on this facade of being someone else so you don't mess up. And then you also have the private on the flip side. And that is, even in private, how do you address yourself? Do you even want to deal with yourself? Do you want to even ignore yourself? Do you want to make excuses for yourself? Or do you want to really take a hard look at who you are, what you are, define that so you can develop that into something a lot more beautiful, useful, something positive. Just because you have tendency to act out does not mean you have to be that person who acts out. But the thing is to recognize the fact that you have a tendency to be that person. So you have to always be on guard that that person does not surface, that you contain that person, and that person does not dominate your behavior. We all have something that we can work on. We all have something. So as I'm speaking to you, it's not like I'm made to be perfect. I too have things that I can work on, that I do work on, because we're not made perfect. But what we still can be is one that is healthy in all those areas. We can be one of being healthy. And how do you become that healthy self? And that is being real, being truthful with who you are and what you are. So that whatever that is, you are made aware of it. So therefore, you if something you don't like about yourself, then you don't have to expose that. But that does not have to become who you really are, even though we know it's there. Because we have control over our emotions. We have control. We may have control on what we think, but we sure have control on what we think if we bring it into place of reality. Because what you think doesn't necessarily have to be the way you act, or what you say, or what you do. It doesn't have to be that. But your thoughts are your thoughts. It does not have to be your action. And to feel is a beautiful thing if your feeling is something that's positive. If your feelings are going to be the one, I stay angry all the time. I stay in a place of just, I'm in a miserable place of just not being able to deal with a lot of things. My emotions are high. Then it means something else may be off balance. But we all feel. Or be in a place of happiness, place of being one of being joyous, or one of when you at peace. You have a loving kind and you just, why she happy all the time? Everybody don't have the same emotions. But what we do have is we have the same opportunity to choose. You have the same opportunity to choose. And then sometimes you have to really, part of your personality and how you define yourself, and that is you say yes to everybody, which puts you in a place of where you always under stress. Stress isn't good, but you don't know yet how to say no. You don't have to say yes to everybody. You have a right to say no. Sometimes you really need to say no because you're also working on yourself to make sure that you're also good. Because we can't give too much and too little to ourselves. And that may be one of your um, flaws. So when you define yourself and you starting to develop yourself, then that's the area you need to look at is that I do too much, but too many. That I find myself doing too little for myself. And that is not good. It's not good. It's finding balance in relationships. And it's so important that you also love on yourself so that you don't become resentful. Because we can say yes and do the very act of what we're doing to serve with attitude. And that's not the same when it comes to giving, because God said, give with a cheerful heart. That's not a cheerful heart. You bitter, you angry, you resentful that you even have to do it. So why are you continuously saying yes? But define yourself is to be truthful to your weaknesses as well as your strengths. It's just like going on an interview and when people say, what are your strengths? And people are so quick to lay out so many areas of strength and just roll them out. Then I ask you the next question. So tell us some of your weaknesses. And it almost goes silent because for us and for many of us, it's hard to see the weakness that's in us. We can see the strength that's within us. But we have to be honest. And I want you to be honest. And that is take a real look at what are truly some of your weaknesses that you could really work on, so that you can be better. Because when you're better with yourself, you're a happier being. You're a much confident person. You one that are more successful. You're one that self-assured, very confident, because you know you understand you accept you, and even the things that you know you need to change. I'm in a place of progress, but I'm also in a place where there's a process within me that I continue to thrive to a place of being better. But I can see my work and my efforts becoming a better self. That's loving on yourself. That's loving on you. When you work on those things to get to a place where you're better. And I say this all the time, and that is, we always say being our best self. I think you're only your best self in the moment that you say it. It does not define what's coming next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10. Because every time you say that, it's your best self in the place and time in which you are in. But it does not necessarily mean it'll be your ultimate best self as you move forward. But we're always working on ourselves. You should be working on yourself. So defining and developing a relationship in self is critical. I mean, critical. Because what it does, it bleeds if you don't. If you don't really truly look at yourself, it bleeds over. It bleeds over in your relationship with other people. It bleeds over in your work, your workplace. It bleeds over in your relationship with God, your spiritual relationship. But what it bleeds the most is it bleeds within you because you are always with self. You cannot get away from it. You can't run from yourself. You can't hide from yourself. And you cannot leave yourself. So you're always with self. So if you're going to always be with self, then be your best self in the moment and time in which you're being your best self. And that is always be cognitive, always be alert. Because if you're not mindful of it, it can get away from you. Because you have to, again, know your weaknesses and know your strengths. And what about those weaknesses that you're willing to work on for change so that you can be your best self in this moment in time? What are some of those things that you know you can work on? Then highlight the thing that you love about yourself the things that you know that you're proud to be this person. I'm proud to be made up of this, and I'm so proud to be where I'm this to other people, because a lot of what you do and how you are within is also displayed as to how you treat other people. If there's a real bitterness in you, you're normally not going to be the one that go out and do a lot of serving, and you're not be the one that embrace and love on people, because there's a bitterness in you. But we all want to find that place of comfort within ourselves, even the ones that are in denial about some things about themselves. We all want to find that place of comfort and peace within ourselves. We have to be in a place where we develop a better self for ourselves. And it's not anyone that cannot do that, because the opportunity is there for everyone to make change, to be better, and ultimately be their best self in that moment in time. I thought it was interesting also that what we do a lot of time is we run. We run, at least we try to run from ourselves. But you can't run from yourselves. You can't. There's nowhere to go. You can't run. You want to be somebody that you truly not. You want to put on a facade of being this other alternate person. That doesn't even work. Because an alternate self is not a true self. True self is still within you. And the realness of it all is the best gift that you can give yourself. It's being real to yourself, who and what you are. And unfortunately, a lot of stuff we see, we don't like. We don't like. But that's okay to not like some things about yourself. Matter of fact, that's good to not like some things about yourself, because that means that you're honest, even if honesty hurts, but you're honest about your true self. And if you don't like what you see in yourself, then change it. And if you don't know how to change it, get help to change it. But what you don't do is make excuses for the ugliness that's in you, because there's no excuse for it. And you don't want to start owning excuses, because excuses give you the right to be that person, to act that behavior out, because you have excuses for being that way. You don't have excuses. So don't make one. You don't have excuses for that. But what you do have is an opportunity to change. You have an opportunity to make it better, that which you don't like. And if you don't like it, change it. If you don't like your mood, because you have all these mood swings, and there's nothing mentally unbalanced about you. And it's just something you just do because you choose not to control it or to contain it, then there's opportunity. But if it is a part of some mental unbalance or mental health issues, then I truly encourage you to seek professional help for that and not make excuses for that, because it's called define and develop relationship in self, because we want to first define it, plaster it, put it on the wall, what that is, and all the beautiful things about you. Put it on display. Let it be seen. Show it to others. Let people in to see that about you. You can't just plaster the good and not put up the other things about you that you know you need to work on. Be transparent. If you trust somebody that you can talk to, a friend, family member, may even be a therapist, whoever you feel you can trust, talk about it. Nobody's perfect, but I know nobody want to be judged. So you go to somebody who you know won't be judgmental, but they will listen to you and hopefully help you. Sometimes even listening to someone helps. And sometimes just asking someone about, tell me what's going on with you. So I'm seeing a change in your behavior. I'm seeing this. You want to talk about it. Can I help you? Because we don't know what people are going through. We don't have no clue to that. And sometimes you can have something laying so dormant for so long, and something will trigger it. You've been able to contain it. It has not possessed you. It has not owned you, even though it's been there. Then something happens, and there it is. But if you see that ugly side of you, for those that have that ugly side, because we all got flaws, but some flaws are really some dangerous flaws because violence comes in. People get hurt. People temper rises. We lose control. If you're one of those people that know that things like that are laying dormant within you, and you're going through something that you know that you need some help with, that I don't want to get to that place. I've been there, done that. I know where it takes me. Talk to somebody. Seek somebody out to help you. Because we all have tendencies, but we can have different tendencies to do different things. But what we don't want to do is lose control. Defining your mind, how your mind is, how your emotions are, it's just keeping it real. And if you take it all the time again, that this exterior means so much more to you than developing you from within, then you're losing sight or you lost sight of what's really valuable in life and what's really valuable about you. Because people will remember much more from what's within you than they will remember what was on the exterior of you. They will remember much more about your kindness and your love and your giving and your serving and your heart than they would be about this exterior of how well you worked out and you had best body and how well you dressed. And I'm just saying all that is good if it's balanced. But if it's not balanced, then you've lost what's most valuable. And that is what's within you. Because what's within you is what you give out to other people. What's within you. The one that benefit from the exterior is going to be you. But what other people benefit from you is what's within you. And that is something we won't always be to other people. And that's a gift, a blessing. That's what we want to be. But that comes from within. It starts here, from within. I hope that you take the time to define yourself, develop the relationship with self, because it's critical. Because that is the first line of defense in terms of how you walk through life. It's on the front line of everything that you do in life. Starts with you. It starts with you. Whether you're successful, whether you're a failure. And it isn't always about money, but it starts with you. So this podcast, this episode, truly is about being real, defining and developing the relationship in self. Because that is first. That is first before you can do that with anybody else and be real in your relationship with anybody else. You have to first be real with you. Because if you don't know who you are, truly who you are, then how can you give that person of who you really are to someone else if you haven't yet defined it? If you hadn't yet developed that best self in you, how do you give your best self to someone else in that moment in time if you haven't yet done that for yourself? But again, we're all work in progress. All of us. All of us. We're all a work in progress. Before I end this podcast, let me just share this with you. And it was just something that I took note of that I want to share. And that is one of the things that people do and should do, and that is, and it's just small things. You'd be amazed. It's just small things that helps. And that is just something simple as physical activity. Physical activity. We all could benefit from physical activity. Those things are not that you do, whether you jog, walk, or whatever you do to stay healthy, physically healthy. But they're not just for the body, but it's also for the mind. So that helps. Nourish your body. And that is also how you eat. You put junk in, that doesn't help your body. Even though we all cheat, because I cheat. Yes, I cheat. But I'm always also thinking also how can you eat healthy? Because all that helps to be balanced within yourself. I spoke about learning to say no. Don't always say yes because it burns you out. To always say yes burn you out. You can't just be a yes person to everybody. You can't do that because you'll lose yourself. It's too much. And then it says make time for supportive relationships. And that is relationship with your friends and people that you love. people that you like being around. Make time for that. Don't be so busy that you're working all the time, that you don't have time for just to love on people and for them to love on you. Engage in activities you enjoy. Do some things that you enjoy doing, whatever that is. The movies, the park, take a trip. I mean, whatever that is that you do, but do something that you can actually engage in and go enjoy life. All that help you to find balance within yourself and be healthy for you. Practice gratitude. I did love this one. And that is see a lot of the things that you're thankful for and be really, truly thankful for the things that you're really thankful for, that you see are good, things that you have. Don't look at the negative, what you don't have. Look at the things that you really do have, that you're just so thankful for, that you just thank, even the little things, but you're thankful. Unplug and disconnect. Are you the one of the people that just stay connected to your phone everywhere and everywhere you go? Social media, always on the phone or whatever that is. But can you just unplug and just have some me time? Get to know you. You cannot have that time for yourself if you're always connected to something else. But you need some me time for just you. And then, of course, at the end of the day, when you feel like all hope is gone for you trying to find this place and space to get to that place, then we encourage you to seek professional help. But I really hope through this conversation it's giving you food for real thought that you can take away some things that you can do and that you can use as you go through your life so that you can be better connected with yourself. Hope it was insightful. Hope it was encouraging. And I hope it was one that you really took to heart. And I really truly hope that it's one that would get you to a place where you will honestly define who you are, what you are, and develop the relationship in self that's healthy for you so that you can be your best self to other people. So thank you for watching this episode. Share it with Charlotte. Define and develop a relationship in self. And I hope you go to my website, hit subscribe, follow, and you continue to stay connected with Cheryl Charlotte. I thank you for this moment. I thank you for this time with you. And you can go to YouTube, you can go to Spotify, you can go to Facebook and Instagram and continue this journey with me as I continue to bring you different episodes of information. Thank you so much. I look forward to speaking with you real soon.